Recording has begun, and we count it down in 3, 2, 1.
Okay, guys, so I'm here at my friend's house, and it's so weird because a couple nights ago, I think on Tuesday, I had a dream that a young lady with blonde hair named Christy haunted me.
Smoking butt.
The Morning Stream. We're not toys, we're action figures.
Good morning and welcome to TMS. It is the morning stream for Thursday, October 5th, 2023. I'm Scott Johnson with Brian Ibbett. Hi, Brian.
Hello. Hello.
Hey,
It's
man.
really good of Miley Cyrus to tell us about her dreams. That's
my
cool.
gosh, it does sound like her.
Okay, guys, so
Oh, weird. It didn't occur to me when I recorded it. Also, I don't know why she's so left ear heavy.
okay, guys, so
I think some phones are
Oh,
just...
she's not in my ear. She sounds fine.
Oh,
but,
good. That must
yeah.
mean Discord gives us mono output or something. I don't know.
Something. Yeah.
Although when I hear your songs on FilmSack, they're in full stereo, so I don't know how that works.
Well, good.
Yeah.
As they should be.
Yeah, they sound great.
Right. Well,
watch-
I mean, they come through great. They may not sound great, but they come through great. How's that?
They come great. They come through good enough that YouTube dings us for copyright every time we
Yeah,
do it.
it blows my mind. All right, goal for 2024. Learn to play the ukulele or the guitar well enough that I can accompany myself for my own
Yeah.
FilmSack karaoke.
I'd
That's
be
the
really
plan.
curious though. Do you think it would still? Well, I don't know what their robots are
definitely
like.
wouldn't.
Catch it. Okay, probably. Not.
Definitely wouldn't. Yeah.
It's pretty great. Hello, everybody. Hope you're doing all right. Welcome to the show. It is cold here. We are cold today.
Is it? It's colder today. High of 67. I mean, fall has definitely settled in on the Denver metro.
Yeah, that's a fall. That's nice fall temperature. We're at 50
perfect,
today
yeah.
with a high of
That is
54 is all.
Wow. Yeah, that is much colder than
Yeah,
here.
don't love it. But we warm up by let's see. Oh, that's a big lie. We'll be a high of 67 today. Big lie.
Which is us too.
Yeah.
Awesome. Cool.
My new widget is confusing me, but I think I've now figured it out.
Oh yeah, I haven't set up widgets yet.
It's pretty good.
Widgets.
I don't love the whole. I have a habit. I don't know about you. You have certain computing habits, you know?
Lots of them. Yes.
One of my habits is when I delete something, not always immediately, but pretty quickly, I will click somewhere empty in the desktop, which automatically selects Finder, right?
Yes. Correct.
And then I will Command-Shift Delete, which will empty the trash. It's a shortcut for emptying trash. And it only works if you're in a Finder window or a trash window because that's where the shortcut is tied to. So I'm just used to doing that. Well, the way these new widgets work is for you to see them.
Yeah.
And it's actually kind of cool. I just cannot get my habit around it. Is you just click anywhere in the desktop, single click, and all windows move out of the
Oh,
way.
everything just, it's like ba-boom,
Yeah.
everything's gone. Oh,
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, it all
thing.
shifts out of the way, and then you just see whatever you want to see. And then when you click again, they all come back in. It's pretty great.
Wow.
I think there's a key on the keyboard that used to do that or still does, but I just kept doing it to delete things, and it'd be on a live show, so I'd be talking to you, and I'd click in the
And then
thing,
all of a sudden,
my
your show
windows
notes are gone.
Yeah, so like the video showing the people at home are just seeing a weird blank thing because your thing gets moved out of the way, and
Yeah.
like everything gets moved, and so I had to change it. I had to turn that off. You can turn it off. It's not hard, but I do like it as a feature. It's pretty cool.
Yeah,
So-
I do. I like it as well.
So now
And
I
then I
shortcut key it is all I do now, so it works fine.
Yeah.
But they're
Cool.
fun.
I like
They're-
also being able to put them where I want them.
I like them a lot. I can't wait until they put in. There'll be more. They're going to add a ton. Right now, it's all their basics.
Yeah.
It's mostly stuff the phone already did. It works just like that.
Yeah.
But I look forward to when it'll let me do like, I don't know, like, I use YouTube Music now for my music service. I want to have a little
Yeah.
YouTube Music box in there that I can just click a button on. That's what I want.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah.
It doesn't do it yet?
No, I have it on my phone, but I think they have to introduce it here. I don't think you can make your own, or maybe you can. I don't know. I don't understand the world. How's the world work, Brian?
Yeah, I don't know. That'll be cool though once we get all that stuff
Yeah,
going.
I don't understand. But anyway, we got a bunch of stuff to throw out to you today. All right? Here's where we're going to start. I think my dog has a drinking problem. Let me explain.
Okay.
This is Jim Raynor, the female dog. She has a very little tiny body. She's half greyhound or Italian greyhound, which means she's got that weird barrel chest, and then the rest of her is like super skinny.
Yeah, she looks like Santa's little helper.
Yeah, exactly. Just like that.
Yeah.
And she can haul ass. Like when she really wants to run, that part of her kicks in, bigger lung capacity. Like there's a bunch of reasons why that breed of dog has that big old thing. It's all part of their running and how they're bred to run and stuff. Anyway, it's all good and well, but her tummy is like a little tiny little bag of nothing.
Yeah,
a little teeny little shriveled up freaking nothing bag.
Yeah.
And what she does is she'll eat. Fine. We give her the amount of food that she's supposed to eat for a dog her size. And we do it the times of day that you're supposed to. Like, we're good about all that. But this dog loves to go to town on the water when she's done eating. And that's fine. Most dogs do. That's when they drink, for the most part. So she just goes straight from that bowl to and she'll do it for way too long. You can tell it's just too long. She's got food in her now in this tiny bag of a stomach, and now she's adding in 1.5 gallons of water. And we try to like limit how much water's in the bowl, but then she'll move to Ripley's bowl if she doesn't think it's enough.
Sure.
And then 9 times out of 10, she'll walk outside, look around for a second, and then involuntarily just go bleh, and out comes a bunch of water.
Oh, really? Okay, so it's
So I don't know how to fix that. I don't know what to do. Just I guess stop her. Say that's enough.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's a vet question, right? Like, all right, is she drinking water? Is she throwing up because she's drinking so much water after eating, or is she drinking the water to help her throw up because she knows she's going to throw up? Like, how long has she been doing the throwing up?
That's a really good point. I hadn't thought of this. She's been doing this since, let's call it a few months.
Okay,
that sounds right to me. And it's also, it's not just that she's been puking; it's that she's been drinking more water in that time. So we kind of thought it was tied to her surgery because everything dried out real bad. She lost a bunch of hair because she was scratching her head so much, and was just like she had a weird reaction to the anesthesia, and she just got all dry everywhere. So we thought, well, increased thirst means she's just it's something to do with that.
It's the dryness and stuff.
Yeah. And she's peeing normal, like she's having all her normal. She's doing all her normal shit. She just drinks too much for that little belly of hers and then hurls it.
I mean, I don't think dogs drink water recreationally, right? I think it's a situation where she's drinking because her body is telling her that she needs water in her.
She's one of those, just 1 or 2 laps a weekend. I'm a casual
exactly.
Water
Doc, I'm a light drinker. But no, I mean, this is probably a good vet question because it could be, it could be a sign. You mentioned, obviously, she's got the tumor issue. Yeah. This could be something related to that. It could be, I know dogs tend to drink when they've got like a UTI and they are drinking to clear it because their body again is telling them to clear it.
Oh, that's a good point. Hadn't thought of that one.
Yeah. So I would say,
but when I do remember this, I should say this: when I've seen her go to town and then I catch her early and go, all right, that's enough. She doesn't bark. Yeah. She's good. And she doesn't beg for water the rest of the day. It's almost like she's just like a puppy almost, where they don't know when to stop. It's hard.
So if you don't let her go, I mean, if you don't stop her and she just goes, she'll always barf, or she'll
almost always. I'd say 9 times out of 10. Yeah.
Really?
If I just let her go and go and go, and it's a lot. Like she drinks more than Ripley if I let her do it, and then she gets all hard down there with her little belly just gets all rock hard, and then she'll go outside and just
it could be, and that even could be like an OCD thing too. Like she thinks, when she was recovering from surgery, she was drinking a lot, and she's trained herself to drink that much water thinking that she still needs it, and then she gets sick.
Good point there too.
So this is a great one. Texas do suggested putting ice in the bowl, and that slows her drinking down. That's a really good idea.
Oh yeah.
But then she'll probably go just to Ripley's bowl again, and she she doesn't drink until she's told herself that she's full.
Yeah,
that's a good question. That might be. I think this is a good vet question.
Ripley, I think I'm going to do that. Ripley has a funnier way of dealing with water. She'll come in. She's a Weimaraner, right? So she's big. lap, 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 and then she'll lift up and then shake her head, and then before you know it, the whole kitchen is covered in her slobbery water.
That was Ruby. Was that? Yeah.
Yeah.
She would. Yeah. I mean, basically, it was like, Ruby's drinking. Don't enter the kitchen for about 10 minutes.
Yeah. Don't
let
go in
everything dry off. Let the puddle on the floor clear, and then you can go in.
Yeah. That's fun though, in a weird dumb dog way. It's kind of a good time.
Yeah.
I can't really complain about it. We got a clarification on cremation from a listener. This is from Jody from Iowa. And I don't remember what we were saying. We were saying
that we were talking about how if there's a viewing that they'll embalm, like fill the body with the embalming fluid for the viewing, and then do they keep it in there when they do the cremation? I think was what we were wondering.
Oh, that's right.
It was a while back.
That was a while back, right. Okay. So I think you're right. That is the conversation. Jody says, in regards to cremation, most times there is no embalming done for a viewing, but if there's a length of time before cremation, then yes, they'll do that. One can often rent a casket for viewing before cremation. This is what we did with my dad. I don't remember about the embalming part. So I don't know if I was ever told even. I don't know how that worked.
Sure.
He says also there are no ashes from cremation. This part really intrigued me. Says all soft tissue is vaporized, leaving only bones and teeth, which are then pulverized into a special blender before they're given back to the family. That also sounds kind of gnarly, but that makes sense, right?
Will it blend?
Yeah, will it blend?
Yeah, that is like I thought you were getting ashes. Really, you're just getting ground up bones and teeth.
You're getting bone dust. You're not really getting ashes of anything, I guess.
Yeah, that's wild. Okay,
that is weird. I didn't know this.
I wonder if Jody from Iowa works in a crematorium.
Could be crematorium. Could be what do you call those people? Mortician.
Sure.
Almost said Morticia. That's a lady, fake
Morticia.
lady.
That's right. Cara mia.
I had a friend who I think he may listen, so I won't use his name.
Oh God. Okay.
But back in the day, this dude was so into wanting to be in our let's say 18. I knew him from about 18 till about 21 or so.
Okay.
And he was so dead set on becoming a professional mortician. It's all he wanted to do. So Brian, imagine a young kid shooting hoops in his yard's like, I'm going to play in the NBA. Or a guy who paints every day, I'm going to be on the wall of the Louvre, or whatever your goals goals are. For him, it was 100% working with the bodies. And he was so excited about it. And he had, I hate to say this, but he will laugh because he knows this is true. He had this kind of long, gaunt face with high cheekbones. He looked like a guy from one of those old Hammer horror movies. Like hello, welcome to my lair kind of looking guy. Oh my
God, yeah, sure.
Little bit of Dracula.
Borderline Vincent Price.
Yeah, very much so. Like totally that vibe, that era. And he bought himself one of those, I don't know what you call them. It's an embalming stick, I guess.
Oh, the little needle that
yeah, the big one you like jam up into their it's kind of awful, but you jam it into their ribs or whatever and then drain stuff. He bought one of those and kept it around, had it in his room. Didn't do anything with it, but he just studied it and thought about it. And we kind of worried about him. We thought, what are you going to be?
It's an odd thing to get in advance of your career. I mean,
I agree. I agree. Like before he's gone to mortician school or wherever you go. I don't know what you do.
Yeah.
His first idea is, well, let me get this tool that, sucks everyone's guts out. Let me get that.
Wow.
He was such an odd dude.
Did he eventually go into that line of work?
He did. Oh yeah. He owns 3 mortuaries now.
He does. Okay. So the look, I mean, the vibe is perfect. Like he
100%. Like we used to go, whatever. He's having a moment here. He's gothy and strange and he'll just not do, he'll end up being an accountant or something. No, he went full on, he had an apprenticeship pretty quick after that in a mortuary. He worked in a crematorium for a while. Did something with the county, what do you call it? The county coroner people. Did a bunch of that. And then got fully into it and bought these multiple locations. He was highly regarded in his field. He's like a big deal, this dude.
It's wild.
Yeah.
Well, there's something to that, like wanting to give the family a very presentable send off, right? Like he's, you know, you could look at it and say, man, dude likes to work with dead bodies, but you could also look at it and say, oh, he just really wants to make sure that the people that use his services get the best send off that they can for their loved one.
Yeah, and he loved that part of it. Like he was legitimately interested in like the psychological, how do you work with the family stuff. He talked about that all the time. He had a book that was like, what was it called? It was something like the whole book was like how to deal with the death of a member of someone's family.
Embalming for Dummies.
Yeah.
Is basically.
He was so into it, and I just remember thinking, I don't know anybody in my life who is more into what they want to be one day, than this guy. And I if this is a time in my life where I was like, oh, if I could do art or somehow radio, I'd be so happy. I didn't know I'd figure out how to do it, but we did figure it out. But I wasn't that locked in. I was like, well, I'll probably do other stuff because whatever. There's no internet when I knew this guy. So it was like, who knows what's going to happen. And no, he was like, this is like a kid saying, I'm going to be an astronaut. And then you find out he's on a shuttle mission later on.
That he actually does it, follows his dead dreams.
Yeah. His dead dreams.
But the fact that he bought the embalming stick early on, I mean, it would be like you'd say, oh, I buy a microphone early on or a mixer. No, this is like you buying a cube, one of those little cubes that you put onto the microphone. Buying one of those really early on.
Yeah, a thing that's just there for like a stabilization thing or something. Or
right, exactly.
Yeah.
Yes, you bought a cop switch.
Yeah. Bought a cop switch, bought a couple of 3.5 millimeter to 1/4 inch plug converters. Yeah, it's really weird.
Hey, he knew it. He knew what he wanted to do, and I admire that. Like, I wanted to be a veterinarian for the first 10 years or 5 years of thinking about that kind of direction in my life. And I said, I really like helping animals, and I really like, giving somebody back their pet and saying, all right, she'll be all better in a few weeks. And I don't know why she's drinking so much water, but whatever. But I don't want I have to put little Muffy to sleep and then sit there while the family is, hugging little Muffy. And that's the part of the veterinary thing that said, oh yeah, that's I don't remember that part in All Creatures Great and Small. It's time for me to figure out something else I want to do.
I think that way about like pediatricians.
Oh gosh, yes.
Like what a wonderful thing it must be to help kids.
I want to help kids and make and make kids feel better. And then it's like, oh yeah, but I also have to deliver bad news to parents sometimes.
Yeah, horrible news. Like your child has 2 weeks to live, or this cancer is really bad, or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
So anyway, that's some good clarification there, Jody. May Iowa respect the fact that a very smart person lives there.
For sure.
We got also an email or a text rather, or is this an email? It might be an email from CVS guy, someone that works at CVS. Oh, this was a text.
Cool.
It's just a longer one.
Cool. Did he send it to you on a massively long receipt?
Yeah, at the very end after a licorice coupon or something.
Right. Yes, exactly. Yeah.
So we were talking about CVS, how no one seems happy there, or at least I was saying that, and it was a limited sampling.
That's right. I was trying to remember what the CVS discussion was, but it was like, going to Walgreens, everyone is like, at least seems like they're fine being there, but CVS, you thought felt like just waiting for the clock to tick and me being able to leave kind of thing.
Absolutely. That's how it felt this last trip when we got our shots. And this guy wrote and says, hi, morning stream. I'm listening to episode 2527, which is where we talked about it. I'm a bit behind. I like to listen to you fantastic folks while I can be in the back at my job at the CVS. And I can tell you, without your show, I don't know how I would make it through the day. You mentioned no one looked happy. And you're right, we aren't, he says.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
This is dark.
I was expecting, all right, yeah, we're going to get the defense of like, oh, no, things are fine here at the CVS, apparently.
No.
Apparently it's not fine at the CVS.
All is they are not okay at the CVS, is our understanding.
The strange things are afoot at the CVS.
He says, that's why there was a strike? I don't remember that. There was a strike?
I don't remember a CVS strike either. There's so many strikes going on right now between, obviously, the
Hollywood crap.
SAG-AFTRA is still going on with the Writers Guild is done, but now we've got the United Auto Workers here in Denver. I don't know if it's everywhere, but the Kaiser Permanente Do you guys have
Oh yeah, I
Kaiser
saw that.
Permanente?
They have smaller presence here, but yeah, ours is a big IHC state. We have a ton of intermittent healthcare. They kind of dominate. But in California, Kaiser Permanente is Permanente.
Yeah.
They are huge over there.
Yeah.
And I guess they're on massive strike.
Prominente. They are Kaiser Prominente. in California.
Yeah, but they seem to be all fired up. There's a lot of that going on right now. I suspect you're going to see a few more of these things happen. But anyway, goes on to say that's why there was a strike. The upper management is scared and doing a lot of interviews to see how people are doing. There are articles saying management vows to make things better. At the same time, it's business as usual. It's flu season, brand new COVID vaccines as well, with a rush of interest over the vaccines. CVS has increased allotted vaccine times and increased workflow by 300%.
Wow.
They forgot, however, to increase payroll hours. It's all about the money, it turns out. Even if you don't see physical people within the store, it doesn't mean we don't actually have insane backup of work that was due yesterday. We have pharmacists who work 8 to 8, 7 days a week. That's a lot of unpaid time to be at a CVS away from families. Love the show, though. Doesn't sound like things are great in there.
It does not. No. Oh,
but they're a
bad.
profitable public company. So this is where I am like so pro worker in this way, because this is always companies who show record profits and their employees are miserable or on strike or being laid off. It's gross. It's freaking gross. Like, you had one of the best months or one of the best quarters Epic Games ever had, and they just laid off 20% of their workforce. It's like, it sucks. What is wrong with people?
Yeah.
Gaming needs more unions, I'll tell you that.
God, no kidding. Yeah. I think Ford, was it Ford that just laid off a bunch of people too, or GM?
Ford, I think it was Ford, and they're having other issues with I guess they got a bunch of weird engine blow up problems or something. Some big recall coming. Things aren't great at Ford.
No.
Dodge trucks are Ford tough. No, that's not the phrase. How did it go?
That'd be an interesting thing. Interesting to just say, yeah.
What am I thinking of? Something.
McDonald's is Burger King delicious.
I think everybody, you know what? It's funny you bring up fast food. Everybody needs to learn from In-N-Out, because In-N-Out is a company, or is a place that is always packed, that is always selling like crazy, that everyone loves to go to.
Yeah.
And their employees are some of the most well-trained, efficient people I've ever witnessed work in my life. And they pay those people a freaking living wage. They don't pay them some dirt. They're like at the top end of the scale in fast food for what they pay people. Like, you can live on what they pay you there. More of that.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Learn from that. Other fast food places.
Yeah, learn. Let's all.
Yeah, Culver's is similar. Every time I go into a Culver's, DJ Stengel, and I've probably been to a Culver's, I honestly, less than 10 times in my life have I been to a Culver's, but the people there are always happy. And
it seems like, and someone mentioned Costco, this is true there as well. You always hear stories about it. When you pay your employees well, they work better, your company makes more money, you are more profitable.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah. It seems like a simple formula. How come y'all haven't figured that out yet? Big companies, big corporations.
Just poorly run. We've gotten to a weird crescendo right now, and things are going to get weird.
Yeah.
Okay, a couple things. Some audio. Brian, we like the audio, right? We like the audio.
Love audio. Somebody sent in an audio or some recording, a voicemail.
Yeah, voicemails. Now, one of these is someone, I think you were already informed of this.
Yes, I was.
But we found out who our chips came from, and so
yes, our special Lay's Funyuns flavor. Lay's.
Yeah, he's quite the Frog Pants literal patron, and I don't mean just
really
Patreon. I mean, this guy is always saying, like, Kim mentioned something about one of the kids, one of the babies on our Skim show, and like 2 days later we got something in the mail that was from the same person. Like, he just is so thoughtful.
Yeah.
Anyway, here he is.
Hi, Scott and Brian. This is Mike Pachalik, and I'm also known as Anonymous Chip Sender. I already contacted Brian and let him know that I sent those chips. I was a day behind when I heard the call out asking who sent the chips, and I would never try to poison you guys. So I'm glad you enjoyed them, and I'll talk to you later.
Yeah, I trust all packages from Mike. He never lets us
Mike
down.
also sent me the sign language for dummies. So he sent me butt butter, the day before the MS-150 ride 2 years ago. Like, I get this package that's got I think Pop-Tarts Minis,
Mhm.
which were freaking delicious.
Yeah.
And some of that chode grease for the ride.
Yeah.
He's a super cool guy.
He's
Mike
a
Pacholi.
really cool guy. He's very thoughtful. It tells me that in his personal life, he is probably the king gift giver of anyone in his life.
Yes,
Right?
exactly.
Like
Yeah.
this, an anniversary will come around. Don't worry, Mike Pacholik's got you covered, man. He's
Totally.
just a good dude. But that's not the only call we got. We got one about
we got another one. All right.
You know that whole Laquinta thing? Some people
Yeah.
say Laquinta. You say Laquinta. Whatever. We got some clarification from a dude on this. So
Okay.
I think he's in the know. I hope anyway. Here it is.
Hey, Scooby and Booby. I just wanted to say about the La Quinta discussion earlier this week. La Quinta is Spanish for the Quinta, and it's pronounced La Quinta. That's it, bye. Off the show.
Now, what I'm hoping is
Yeah.
that this caller is of Hispanic descent of some sort.
I'm pretty sure he's not.
I mean, I don't know. I have no way of knowing.
I think that might be. Hey, listen. Glad you said it, not me.
Yeah, I don't know for sure. If you are, great. If you're not, it's a little on the I don't know, on the weird side.
And borderline. It's not fully in, but maybe borderline. No, La Quinta is Spanish for next to Shoney's is what La Quinta is Spanish.
Yeah,
for.
we've already established that. I thought
Yeah,
so.
that's
good.
exactly, yes.
I've never had a bad time at a La Quinta though. They were fine.
I've never ever stayed at La Quinta. I don't think I take that back. I stayed in one in Simi Valley when we were visiting my aunt and uncle for Thanksgiving or Christmas, and the whole family was in town, and so it was whoever called dibs on the bedrooms at my aunt and uncle's house. They don't have enough room for everybody to stay there.
Yeah.
So I think Tina and I ended up staying at La Quinta, but it was right next to a
Shoney's.
it was right next to a Shoney's, but it was a block away from, what is the hotel? Sorry, not hotel, the restaurant. It's a Mexican restaurant that's big in California. There was one next to the John Wayne Airport, and I had lunch there before a flight with Sam Jane and Randy Deluxe.
Not Torchy's. Hold on.
El Torito.
El
Thank
Torito.
you, Michael
Yep.
Hennessy. Yes.
I've been there, too.
El Torito. Ate at El Torito. It's like, oh man, wish we had these in Colorado. It was,
same.
you know what? It was Christmas because I remember the TV in our hotel room automatically came on to TBS, I think, or whatever, and it was nonstop A Christmas Story with Ralphie and the
Just
the BB
repeating
gun.
it. Yeah.
Just repeat. So yeah,
Yep.
it must have been.
I remember that. Those were. They still do that. They probably still do that.
I bet they still do that. In the days of streaming, doesn't it feel like a waste of your time and your energy as a television broadcaster?
Yeah, to
Even
me
a
it
cable
does.
broadcaster, it's like, we're going to nonstop play the same movie because you totally can't do that with your Amazon Prime subscription.
Yeah, if it's streaming somewhere, you can put it on repeat, and you won't
Yeah.
get commercials. So
Exactly.
you can
yes.
also pause at any time, and
Right.
I don't know.
I mean, the whole point of it is so that any time during the day, it's like, oh yeah, I want to see that movie. I can watch Christmas Story. I don't think they put it on doing that because they want somebody to sit there and watch it over and over and over again.
No.
It's just for convenience that, well, whatever time of day you happen to turn on the TV, you can watch Christmas Story. Yeah, guess what? We can do that with streaming. Maybe, I don't know, mix up your programming schedule for Christmas Eve. or
Yeah,
something.
like make your marathon day isn't
Yeah.
just one movie. Just start
I'm sure you
playing
could,
Christmas
exactly,
stuff.
yes. I'm sure you could do better.
Yeah, look at Hallmark Channel. They do that nonstop Christmas Hallmark stuff, but it's not the same movie. Well, it
At least it's
kind
not
of
the
is.
same.
It kind of is.
It's the same movie with different actors and different titles.
Sort of the same plot every time, color
Pretty much.
scheme, bad
much.
actors, all that. But
You know
yeah.
what? I want us to watch one. I have never seen a Hallmark Christmas movie. I make the joke about the whole big business lady comes back to the small town where she grew up and hooks up with the florist who wants her to come back, but no, she's too busy and she's got her life and da da da.
Right.
We should have the Tadpole pick maybe a new one, and you and me, and I'm sure Kim and Tina, because they have to. Well, Kim will want to.
Yeah.
We'll watch a Hallmark a Hallmark Christmas show, and then we'll talk about it on TMS.
I would love that. I found a list on IMDb has a list of best Hallmark Christmas movies. These are based on, I think, reviews. Right now, they say the first one is crowned for Christmas after getting fired from her job as a maid at the ritzy New York hotel. Allie reluctantly accepts temporary gig as the governess to a young girl who is part of a powerful family in Europe that lives in a castle. And then she falls in love with Rupert Penry
The
Jones.
prince?
Yeah,
I'm
probably
sure,
some sort of
yes.
prince, yeah. The top two are directed by the same guy, this Alex Zam guy. That sounds like a...
I mean, we could do that. I'm still saying like we do one that's like a brand new one for 2023.
Oh, totally. Yeah. We should do that. Just to, I don't know, just to make it random. Some of them are really bad though. Like,
Yeah.
like real bad. So we might get lucky or we might not get lucky.
We could watch the movie Checking It Twice, starring Kim Matula and Kevin McGarry. What's the plot of this guy right here?
Yeah, let's see what you got there. What do you got?
Oh, I don't have a plot. I have the trailer. All right, so they're walking through a town. There's a hockey game. He's the coach of a little league hockey game. She certainly dresses like she's from the big city. And here we go. Here's about.
All right.
A journeyman hockey player falls for a real estate agent in a career crisis when he's traded to her hometown. Oh, he moves to her hometown and moves into the cottage in her hockey-loving family's backyard.
Wow. Hilarity will ensue there at that house.
Hilarity and love will ensue. That one we can watch as early as Friday, October 20th.
Wow. They're starting early this year. Here's a fun one. A Prince for Christmas. Wanting to escape an arranged marriage, a European prince flees to the United States. There he meets a struggling young waitress who may just be his one true love. Oh, that sounds like shit.
Here's one that has the unfortunate title, Never Been Christ.
Okay. All right.
Home for the holidays, BFFs Naomi and Liz reconnect with high school crush Chris Silver. A complex love triangle forms, forcing them to take stock of their lives and find the value of friendship. Starring three people who were guest stars on Charles in Charge.
Wow.
Once.
Wow. Once, of course. Boy, there are a lot of princes hanging out with.
Because there's one here called Heidelberg Holiday. I think the popularity of that one you said was what IMDb qualified as the best Hallmark Christmas movie.
Yeah.
You said we need more of those.
More of those,
prince,
please. Yeah.
More princes and.
Well, these are all. Oh, look at a Christmas prince, a winter prince, Christmas with a prince.
Really?
Yeah. There's so many. Oh my gosh! All right. Well. Oh, a Christmas prince, the royal baby.
Hold on a sec. Icor is saying that we already film sacked a Christmas movie, A Christmas Prince, on Film Sack 494. So the one you just mentioned,
what?
We actually
didn't.
Actually watched
Did we?
It.
We did that.
Apparently, Film Sack 494. I've got to see this.
Hold on. I don't buy this.
Remember when you asked? Yeah, there it is, right there. A Christmas Prince, Quick Sack 494.
Is this? Okay, hold on. Search on good.
Yeah.
IMDb. Did we really do this?
Yeah, we really did it. A Christmas Prince, yeah.
I don't remember
When a reporter goes undercover as a tutor to get the inside scoop on a Playboy prince, she gets tangled in some royal intrigue and ends up finding love.
I don't remember doing this at all. Oh, this had Alex Krieg in it? Or Alice Krieg? She's the Borg queen.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, now some bells are ringing. Rose MacGyver, Ben Lamb, Alice Krieg. She was the queen. Okay, I kind of remember now. Man, that's a weird memory.
That is. You remember you had asked me about, I think we had talked about it at the end of Film Sack last week about, is there ever a movie that we did that you don't remember doing? Right here. Here it is.
This is the one right here. This answers that question definitively. Oh, this is a Netflix deal, which might explain why we did it.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't think it's even a Hallmark joint.
Rose MacGyver. I do adore her.
I like her. She's great. Yeah. I like Ben Lamb too. It's a decent cast. It's just a shitty movie.
Well, sure, yeah. All right, so we'll work on that, folks. We'll do a Christmas movie, but we won't make Randy and Brian have to go through.
No. Why would we hurt our friends like that? Why would we do that?
Exactly, because we like them. We like to keep them.
We enjoy them. Here's this.
I don't watch the news.
It's time for some quick news brought to you by
Coverville today might be happening a little bit early. I'm trying to decide if I'm gonna try and make it happen at noon, 12 p.m. Mountain Time. Twitch.tv/Coverville. Might be happening an hour early. Anyway, Steve Miller, the guy who flies on a big old jet airliner and wants to keep a rockin' me, babe. And that horrible Abracadabra song. He's turning 80 today. And so we're celebrating by playing some of your favorites like The Joker, Fly Like an Eagle, Jungle Love, Swingtown, and more. Twitch.tv/Coverville.
I want to reach out and grab you. I hate it.
Yeah, I do too.
Such a bad song.
It's like, wow, how long did it take you to put the water skis on for that one, Steve Miller?
It is the worst one. Plenty of other great hits, though.
Totally. Take the money and run. Come on, that's an awesome song. By the way, one of those that I mentioned, a little song called Jet Airliner, a cover. Steve Miller didn't originally do that one.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Done by a guy named Paul Pena.
Oh, never. I don't know who that is. Wow, that's a cover?
That's a cover.
Got to hear the original.
Yeah.
Speaking of music, real quick, I wasn't planning on doing this, but Brian, can you guess? I'm going to play a tiny. This is kind of like Name That Tune. But
Yeah. Well, I love it. Yes.
But it's not really because I don't have like multiple. Like I can do it in one note or anything like that.
You have whatever I get. Whatever little song snippet I get.
All you're going to get is this. But I want you to tell me what television intro theme this is from.
Oh, okay. All right.
So it's just a piece. Here you go. What's that from?
Oh, that is the end of. Don't.
I'll do it one more time.
That is the end of the theme of. Is it Brooklyn Nine-Nine? No, it is. What is that? That's older. That's something 90s.
You're smelling the right tree. If that's the way to say that.
Is it Melrose Place?
You are. Let's see. Is that correct? Is it correct?
Oh, it is ER. Yeah.
It's ER. Here's the long version.
Yeah, I would have gotten it.
Yeah.
I would have gotten it with that little extra. Yeah.
Yeah. I think another Mike Post joint, I believe.
Yeah, I think so.
It was now that I'm done with the Sopranos in the background watch. My background watch is ER. That's what I'm doing.
Oh, nice. So Anthony Edwards still alive, and George Clooney still pining after the. Well, she was only supposed to be in the pilot, Juliana Margulies.
Yeah, she had I watched. That's funny you say that. Just watch the pilot, and the pilot said at the very end of all the credits.
Yeah.
And it was one of those and guest starring Juliana Margulies. And then the very next episode, and that one had no intro, no music, nothing. It is a weird pilot. I didn't like it.
Yeah,
but
then Michael Crichton business.
Yeah, then the second one comes along, second episode, and it's got the full intro with what's his name, Peter doing his jumps on the ground and does the fist pump in the air thing and all that. Shit.
Noah Wiley,
yeah, all that stuff, and then she's a full cast person. Like they must have loved her in the pilot.
She was supposed to die.
Yeah.
As a setup in the pilot, and they're like, she's really good. Let's keep her.
She's great. I like her a lot.
She is.
Speaking of The Sopranos, she was.
Bob's dog says Margulies. Is it Juliana Margulies?
Margulies? I've always heard Margulies. But... Yeah, same. Yeah. We'll have to look that one up. Here's a story about Cher. Speaking of Hollywood elite types.
Here's a little story I'd like to tell you about a big, tall woman you know so well.
How tall is she?
She can turn back time and
well, here's what she did. Or she didn't do anything. Well, maybe she did, but she's being accused of hiring men to kidnap her son.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Okay.
Court documents filed by Elijah Blue, Almond's wife, Marie Angelina King.
Almost. Yeah.
Marie Angela.
You threw an "een" in there, which didn't need to be there, but Marie Angela King.
There you go. Marie Angela is a weird single name, though, isn't it?
It is, yeah, having it all mashed up together because it all those vowels. Marie Angela.
Yeah, it's very weird. Anyway, they're alleging that 4 men removed him from a New York hotel room. Foreman. On their anniversary in November of 2022, the pair had reportedly been at the hotel attempting to save their marriage after filing for divorce in 2021. The BBC has contacted representatives for Cher and Mrs. King for comment. This, by the way, is this Elijah Blue Almond is her son, and he's 47, I believe.
Yes.
In court documents filed as part of the proceedings for divorce in Los Angeles Superior Court that had recently been made public, Mrs. King said that Mr. Almond had spent 12 days at the hotel working out our marriage. Boy, I'd love to be able to stay at a hotel for 12 days.
No
just
kidding.
for
I'm
whatever.
sure it's a nice hotel. You know?
That's what you do when you're Cher's son, I guess.
Exactly. Yeah, you get to live it up.
Yeah.
Interesting. So they think that Cher intervened to say, no, I don't want my son and his wife to work things out. She's bad for him. I want to kidnap him out of that situation.
Yeah, so that's the claim. They're suing her for it. She has yet to make a statement, anything publicly, about whether she did or didn't do this. But that's kind of a serious crime. Paying for somebody to...
When they kidnapped him, did they go, we got you, babe, and they ran out of the place?
Yeah, they did. They totally did. Absolutely they did. And if they didn't, they screwed up. What is the point of this if you don't say that when you kidnap a Cher relative?
I believe this is all because of Cher.
And he wore a Rocky Dennis mask to pretend like he was Cher's.
I like that. I take the music route, you take the movies route.
We got it all covered. Now we just need someone to do the Tony Award route, or the stage route.
Right, exactly. Her
then we got the trifecta. Let's move on to the story. This is pretty funny or interesting. If you bought one, I guess it's a pain. But Apple declares its $17,000 solid gold watch they introduced in 2015.
Right.
They called it the Zero or the Series Zero. Is now obsolete, ending repairs and servicing plans for it. They're not going to fix it anymore if you have problems with it.
Yeah.
They launched the first generation. Oh no, that was the first gen. Sorry, this is 2018. This thing came out.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, I can't believe it's been since 2015 we've had the watch. That's weird.
Yeah, no kidding.
Anyway, in addition to the standard models starting at around $349, there was this 18-karat gold Apple Watch edition.
No, it wasn't 2015. Yeah, so really, here's the news story. Apple discontinues repairs and servicing on the watches they introduced in 2015, including the gold one.
Yeah, that's a better headline.
Yeah,
because it isn't like they didn't single out the gold one and go, sorry, everyone else, you're fine. Everybody who bought the $300 one, we're still doing it. Yeah.
Apple discontinues service on 8-year-old products, including one that was made out of gold.
Yeah, that's lame. Yeah. These were never upgraded to watch OS 5, which arrived in 2018. So they've been kind of dead in the water for a while anyway. But I would just say this to people who have $17,000 to spend on a watch anyway.
Yeah.
You knew what you were getting into.
Yeah.
You bought
a product, a technological product. Doesn't even matter that it came from Apple. Doesn't matter if it came from Microsoft or Google or whatever. They stop supporting old products after a while, and that's what happens.
Yeah. If you're going to hold on to something that long and if you expected more, you were wrong, and you should melt down the gold, and then you're good. You're golden.
There you go.
Or I'll bet those things sell pretty well as a relic. Like,
oh, I'm sure.
I'm
sure.
They don't make those anymore.
I still would love it if a 20th anniversary Mac landed in my lap. That weird, like panel-y thing.
Dude.
Yeah.
I would love all of the Hallmark ones, like the
SE30.
Yeah, and the G4s with the weird lampshade. I never had one of those. Not lampshade, but the lamp shape.
The Duo, the laptop. So it was the Mac. It was a little PowerBook that would slide into a hole in a desktop, and then when it slid into the hole, it would become a desktop machine. It was like a dock, but you'd get all the extra ports. I mean, it's basically what people do now with a cable, a Thunderbolt cable.
Yeah, Thunderbolt cable with like 4 slots on it.
Tap. Now I'm at work. Fold it, close it, and then put it into the thing. Like a VCR tape. And
people love their docking station days, man. Everyone always talks fondly about their 1990s
but it really
dockings.
is so dumb because I have a laptop here. I can just plug a Thunderbolt cable into it, and instantly I've got keyboard, mouse, peripherals attached.
Yeah,
everything.
I mean, it's. I love progress, but I'd love to have that. I want the old, like an old original 84 Mac would be fun. I don't even care if it works. I just want to have the the hardware.
Yeah.
And then and that weird G4 Cube that
the Cube would be cool.
Nobody
you
bought.
had for a while. I remember. I think the first time you had out of town visitors over to your place in for Nerdtacular, you had the grapefruit Pixar light stand Mac, right? There was like a half grapefruit with a stick and a hinge on it, and then a little panel that would move all around.
Oh, I might have.
Yeah,
Did I have that one.
You had it at the time back in 20.
I must have.
Whatever.
Do you remember seeing it? It'd have been 2011, 12,
something like
or
that.
no,
yeah.
sorry, 8. It would have been 7, 8, 9, or 10 were the house ones.
Right. I have. I think I've got a photo of Christ lookalike Sebastian standing in front of that. In front of that iMac or whatever it's called. Lump, stick, and square. Is that what it is? It's called the lump, stick, and square. Yeah.
Yep. Boy, that guy Sebastian. No, was it Sebastian? Yeah.
Was it not Sebastian?
The Jesus one.
Yeah.
We're not. We got the name right?
Yeah, not Mashup Man Sebastian. Totally different dude.
Was he called Sebastian?
Was
I don't remember.
He's the one who called my house. The first time ever I'm talking to you, I'm like a guest star on ELR, and he finds my number.
Yeah,
and he
was
calls
weird.
the house while I'm doing your show.
Yeah, that was weird.
To like ask me to tell you something, or I can't remember what the deal was, but he's like, Tina's like, oh no, he's on a podcast right now. He says, I know, I'm listening to it. Tell Brian to tell Scott such and such. It's like,
so weird. Dude. Did we ever find out how he found you or tracked you down?
I'm sure he just white paged my name and number. Like,
I guess you could do that still.
Yeah,
that's still a thing we do.
That's still a thing.
Well, we don't know where he is now.
White paged.
It's hilarious though that if we wanted to try to find him right now, it'd be impossible. Like, how would we find him?
Oh, yeah, I know. But we could listen back to that episode of VLR. That first time I guessed it, and we'll be able to hear his name there because I said, by the way, so and so.
I wonder if I have that handy for a clip here. Hold on, that could be funny.
That could be. I don't know how long.
Let's see. ELR. Ibit. Maybe I put in the name.
Yeah, maybe.
Do you remember the number? You don't remember the number you were on?
Gosh, no. Hell no.
It's too long ago.
Yeah.
Let's see. How did I do these? Extra. Oh, extra life, I called them. Okay. Oh, I just did numbers. Ibit. Yeah, I don't have a way to find it. We got some sleuthy somebody out there. Maybe you'll track that down. We can hear our high squeaky voices or something. Like here's an example of how we sounded in the year 2008. Here you go.
Episode that did they can have the guy that did Smeagol walking around in a green suit, holding his eyes back. That is brilliant.
Oh, my microphone. What the shit?
Wow, listen to you. How funny.
I don't like it. Yeah, I don't know which one you're on here, but I would love to know.
I'm looking to see.
I would love to track that down.
Yeah.
Obsidian, are you there?
Yeah.
Weird. Oh, it's so old. That's so weird.
I know I'm the they get to be one of your co-hosts that you have to say, Brian, are you there? Are you all right?
Are you okay over there?
You paying attention?
Yeah. Well, you never knew with Brazilian Boy. He was always up to something. Always had something going on there. All right, we're gonna take a break, and when we come back, my sister Wendy will be here. We're gonna talk about a follow-up we got about that whole internal roommate thing, and Wendy liked it. She says, let's do that. And I said, okay, let's do that. So we'll do that. But we need a song first. So play that.
Yeah, this is, we're going to listen to a 19-year-old that I think is going to be one you're going to hear a lot more from. Her name is Isabel La Rosa, and she's got a brand new single called Older. She has got an incredible voice, and there's some weird audio tricks that she does on this thing that almost sounds like she's getting further from the mic before the big powerhouse chorus kicks in and stuff. It's very interesting. She's currently on tour with Tom Odell, and she was selected for TikTok's Elevate program. So we're going to hear a lot more from Isabel La Rosa. Not Isabella Rosa, but Isabel La Rosa. I guess, she should just merge the two and become Isabella Rosa.
Leaning. Put a leanie at the end, and now we got a whole nother
Isabella
lady.
Rossellini. Yes, Isabella Rossellini.
Perfect.
Anyway, this is her brand new song. It's called Older. Once again, Isabel La Rosa.
For sale, one horseless carriage with 4-man top and whippletree, tires good as new, except for a little rust. What'll you offer?
I'm dying.
And we've returned. Who was that again?
That was Isabel LaRosa and her brand new single, Older.
I appreciate the pause.
Absolutely.
How else are we going to know, you know?
We won't know otherwise. Otherwise, it's just Isabella Rosa.
Yeah.
Isabella Rosa.
That's right. It sounds like something I'd order at a restaurant. Give me the Isabella Rosa.
When you're here, you're Isabella Rosa.
You're Isabella Rosa.
I'll explain the situation to Wendy. Don't worry.
Oh, look what we have here. It's my sister, Wendy. She is here joining us from the Twin Cities, which I'm told you guys went from 100 degrees a few days ago, and you're going to have snow this week. What's going on with that?
I feel like snow is a rumor, but
I read it on the internet.
We do fluctuate more than any other state in the union, for sure. I think it's about 100 degrees often in the year fluctuations.
You sound like you still got that cold.
Oh, it got real bad, guys. It was not just a
really?
cold. It was like murdered.
Did you get the COVIDs or what was it? Do you know?
It was not COVID, but it was just like, I think the regular old flu. And I did not realize you had to be getting your flu shot by September 1st. Come on, people.
Yeah, we got ours too.
It was rough, but
we got ours like 2 weeks ago.
It was 91 on Saturday or Sunday, so they had to cancel the Twin City Marathon, which they've never ever done.
Too hot for that? Oh wow.
Too hot, and they do it in the middle of the day because normally it's like nice and breezy and cold, and people love it because it's always a colder run.
Yeah.
And it was definitely not, so they had to cancel it. They didn't want anyone dying.
Dang, dude. Yeah.
And then tomorrow will be 50. So
makes perfect sense. Yeah, perfect sense.
Of course it will. Yes.
Well, it's good to have you back, and I'm glad you're. So you're feeling better, I hope. This is like a rough week.
Yeah, a little better. I sound terrible.
Yeah. Well, it's all right.
It's great.
I've never known anybody, and my sister Wendy can hold her cold pretty well. I remember that time we were doing. You were pregnant with Peter, and we were doing one of those grocery rally things you were doing back in the day for the school district.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And so we all came out there to help and volunteer and stuff. And Wendy was really sick and pregnant, which meant she couldn't take a lot of meds or anything. And I've never seen you so sick, but work as hard as you were working. And I remember thinking,
I know, it's a problem.
I'm like, she's a freak for two today. She's this way. She's
I'm a freak
ill
for two.
She's ill and working her pants off, and she has a baby in there that's got the sick
got the
housing.
sniffles. I know.
Yeah.
Truly though, I was thinking about the other day. Like I don't ever I think of a cold. I didn't cancel a single client when I had COVID. I don't. I think it's because I'm in my house. It's easier to not if I had to go in public, it'd be very different. But sometimes I'm like, I should probably lay down. But I should have been a railroad builder.
A railroad builder.
I have energy. It's what I have to say.
You do have energy.
I tend to fight through sickness.
Yeah, well done.
Yeah, so
whatever.
Here I am, ready to work while I'm sick.
Wendy got the genetic lucky card, and I did not. I get tired all the time. Yeah. Wendy never gets tired. Yeah. I don't understand it. Well, all right then. It's good to have you here. Let's read this thing. So we got a little bit of a follow-up on the internal roommate thing. And I think a lot of people may relate to this, and it's kind of its own thing, which is why we're going to read it. You mentioned you may have something in addition to it. Did you have something else you wanted to? Okay.
Yeah. So let's read this one first.
All right. We'll start with this. Hi, Scott, Brian, and Wendy. For the purposes of the show, you can call me M. So I'll just assume this is like James Bond kind of thing.
Yes. Okay. Yes.
I like that a lot.
James, you're a relic.
I have really enjoyed the series on The Voice in Your Head, and I wanted to reach out after hearing the episode on September 14th. This was a little while ago. I thought it was great that Wendy provided a book as a resource, so I was hoping for maybe some recommendations in that regard. My inner roommate is obsessed with mortality. It is similar to Scott's tendency to see an older movie and think about how all the actors are now dead. I still do this all the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But a little bit more extreme. As I go about my day-to-day business, the voice frequently reminds me that things are pointless because we are all going to die anyway. This has been true for as long as I can remember. For example, I remember specifically that as a child, I would sometimes feel guilty that my room was messy because if I happened to die while I was away from the house, then my family or someone else would have to sort out my mess. I never thought much about this memory until I mentioned it to my partner, and they told me it was a pretty abnormal thing to feel. I'm currently doing better, but for a period of only a few months, recently I found these thoughts to be debilitating. Trying to get work done, I have a demanding job, or be active/eat healthy, or even make new relationships can be a challenge because my roommate always reminds me how temporary things are and how death is always around the corner. I have a strong support system, and I am generally able to quiet the voice and still move on with my life, but it sometimes is very obnoxious and leaves me exhausted after doing basic things. I don't necessarily think that the thoughts would be classified as depression, but I don't want to die, and I find a lot of joy throughout my life. I think this is why I am finally writing in about the roommate discussion, because that feels more accurate. I tried out therapy, but couldn't find a good fit. I would love some homework or resources on how to quiet my roommate while I look into maybe trying to find another therapist. Love all the content. Love the show, though, M. So there's the basics of it all. I honestly, it feels a lot like what I do, except mine's a little goofier, and I don't get like super depressed about it, but I do think about this quite a bit.
You think about mortality a lot.
Yeah, it just kind of comes up, and it's not so much like, oh, it's just we're all gonna die anyway, so what's the point? I don't get like that ever, but but I do notice, like, I don't know, I'll see the lead singer for Tears for Fears the other day. It's a weird one, but I saw him
rolling towards the ball in his Gandalf.
Yeah, in his Gandalf get up. Yeah, and he was singing so good. Like, he hasn't lost a step on his voice, and he's singing Everybody Wants to Rule the World, and it's blowing my mind. And then I see the video and I go, oh my gosh, someone hold him up. He's about to die. Like, it's just like the first thing my brain goes to sometimes. And it feels a little like this. This feels a little bit more extreme, and obviously is really disrupting his life. But anyway, Wendy, where do you want to go with this? And
okay, so first of all, his partner, bless them, but it's not that abnormal. It's abnormal when you don't do it. You're like, what? Like, it sounds morbid, or like it's strange for you. But I have met many a person who their roommate will talk in these ways, and really ultimately we all have kind of an individual think of it as a set list for our roommate. They like certain topics, and they're going to go there, right? Mm-hmm. And so I've met many people, and often what they'll describe, it's kind of similar here, at being very young, and like really young, and they remember laying in their bed at 5 years old and thinking about having an existential dread like moment, and death, because death is really the one thing. Maybe there's more, but it's at least the universal thing that none of us can handle. We can't overcome it. We can't stop it. We can't change it. We can't, right? It's coming for everybody. And then for some people, that thought, that concept, it's like it just is on repeat for the inner thoughts, right?
Right.
And so that is not all that uncommon. It's maybe, maybe at a dinner party, it's gonna be 1 out of 10. So you're not gonna, maybe get everyone to have that same experience. I don't know the exact numbers, but I've met many people and they always feel sheepish about saying it, right? Because it really is something everyone has, it's very, can be very fear-based, can be very scary. People get real religious on you all of a sudden. Like you don't want to touch it with most people. And also people get real freaked out if you talk about death. It's just sort of socially a thing that maybe isn't as common to talk about, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So that being said, we have a challenge here where it's become problematic rather than it's a thought that flits across their mind or something.
It's like when you say, "Oh, there are germs on doorknobs. Don't forget to wash your hands." And so you're a common sense person and you wash your hands occasionally, but then there's this time where it's like, oh, I got to wash my hands all the time, every minute of the day. Whenever there's a sink, I'm washing my hands. Like that's kind of what we're talking about, right? Like that level of Yeah. So
for example, when there's a warning on a movie or a TV show or something where adult themes, suicide will be discussed, or anytime on the show, I should do it and I forget sometimes, but like a trigger warning, right? Because the reality is for some folks, they are in a different mental space, and it can just exacerbate problems that are already occurring. And for someone like this, it might be just that, like, it's not the suicidal thinking, but the thoughts of death. You're going to see some, post on Facebook or something that's just like, remember you are small and that the universe is big, some way of trying to get someone else to be a little more humble.
Right.
And you go right to a certain place, right? So life is the trigger warning for death, truly. Like, enough, a baby's born. If your roommate is really obsessed with, sort of thinking about some of these topics, you can just find it anywhere, okay? The problem is not that the thoughts ever occur. The problem is that they get so much space and then cause problems. So, like, I'm trying to remember what he said about sort of recent months. He found them to be debilitating, right?
Mm-hmm.
So trying to get work done, be active, any choices that are like building a future, right? Maybe I got to do this to get paid. I want to be healthy in 10 years. So I got to start eating well now, or whatever those like future thinking things might also specifically trigger this of like, hey, none of this is worth it. This effort you're about to put in is not worth it because you're just going to die. Everyone's going to die. Right. So when that's all happening, that's when it starts to interfere. And this is so reductionistic, so forgive me, but anything you find in the DSM-5, that is the statistical manual of mental disorders, right? Anything diagnosable, everyone has just like a smidge of it. And then when it gets bigger and bigger and bigger and disrupts your life, and you cannot live the life that you want to live, then it gets into diagnosable territory. Then it's, pathological, or not pathological.
Sure.
Yeah, pathological.
Pathological. That's the word. Yeah, that's the professional word.
Pathology. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, and so that's what's the movement has gone from, hey, maybe this is a thing that's happened here or there, to now it's causing problems. So the question is, yes, find a therapist that fits so you can really work through this. Great, sounds good. In the meantime, and I think this is where, this is going to sound too simple, and it's a little bit along with kind of the series we did about the inner voice, is actually meeting the voice, interacting with the voice. And sometimes I will have people, it's as simple as, hey, try to bring that up right now. Let's connect with it right now. Like,
bring the voice feeling. Up. Like, what is the voice telling you right now?
Yeah.
And do it while it's hot.
Right now.
Strike that iron while it's hot, right? Like, get it now while it's being loud.
And what sometimes happens is that whole roommate retreats, just like, oh, no, don't look at me.
Oh, I didn't know you were going to shine the spotlight on me.
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
My whole job is to get your attention, to tell you how scary the world is. But if you look at me and say, hey, what's up? Let's talk about how scary the world is. I don't have any job past the trying to get your attention while you're doing something else.
Yeah.
Right. So this is where mindfulness meditation or any of those other sort of things come into play, where you are giving your attention to the thing the thing that's trying to get your attention, you actually give it your attention, right?
Right.
So this is why a therapist might be helpful to do that practically with, and practice that, and have them guide you as you are connecting with, that part. And then as we've done on the show before, maybe this will be familiar to this person, but just like, what does it need you to know? Like, you're doing your taxes, and this part jumps in and is like, oh my, you're going to die. Everyone's going to die. None of this is worth it. Don't pay taxes. If you kind of turn to it and just say, okay, what do you need me to know? Well, you're going to die. Don't do your taxes.
You missed a decimal point on your,
right?
I just wanted to alert you to that. I just
don't have other words. All I know is we're going to die. Right.
Exactly. Yeah.
And really, like, what is it trying to get your attention for? And 99% of the time, I'm going to jump to the answer that's 99% of the time, is it's trying to protect you against a thing there is no protection for. So take a relationship that you're a part of you is going, oh, something's off here, right? Like, it's just trying to warn you. This is maybe not good for you. And sometimes those inner warnings are highly tuned to frequencies that were trained in you as a kid. Like, oh, strangers are dangerous. I wonder why anyone has anxiety. right? Like you're already tuned into these are not safe things. This is bad. And so suddenly you're faced with meeting a nice stranger and you're like, everything in me says, oh no, run. So it's not appropriate. It's just not appropriate. And but here's the thing. Those things can be maybe a little more measurable. Whereas death, there's no one to argue with, right? Because we can try seances. We've made a lot of attempts as a species to try to figure this out, right? But it is really the greatest unknown. And I think this can show up in a lot of ways. People can have a lot of versions of, I can't control the ultimate uncontrollable. So I have parts of me trying to control things, right? And so, hey, don't waste your time on this or that. And, we're all going to die. It's a really quick way to like stop you from whatever you might be doing. Mm-hmm. So then you got to get curious. Why is doing this alarming to that part of me, right? Why does it not want me to pay taxes? Oh, I don't know. Duh, I don't want to. Or I don't want to eat better or whatever, right? Would I be interested in, it didn't say in this, but is there any times where like you are having an absolute blast and the voice jumps in and goes, well, you probably should stop. This is pointless. You're just going to die. Or is it just protective of like crappy experiences?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. I'm trying to think if that's happened to me before.
Then it'd just be the guilt of, it's good that you're having fun, but this other stuff is going on and that you have no control over, kind of thing.
It's just so primordial to everyone. Like your reaction to it may vary, but everybody will eventually not exist anymore. Every single person hearing this, us here talking,
I'm working on AI to stop that from happening.
Yeah, we're trying real hard to do that, but that is so built into all your decisions. So whether it's hypersensitivity to that, or you just only reserving it for when the bear's chasing you, it's still this. You still have it, right? Because your survival instinct is just it's your humanity. It's what else do you have? Everything is about surviving. So I guess I'm not surprised that or what am I trying to say? I guess I'm a little surprised that more people aren't more freaked out all the time.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. And really, we have a lot of protections, psychologically speaking, so that we aren't thinking about this all the time. And that we are getting up and doing our jobs, because it is all pointless. Like he's not wrong, right? In one sense of it. But our systems are absolutely built to get us to do things to survive. So maybe this version for him versus someone else, they're never going to think about death. It's never going to cross their mind. Like, what? That's morbid. No way. Well, because that is that person's way of avoiding and being protected from that inevitability of oblivion or whatever, right? Like their brain won't let them do that. Whereas his brain is doing this other version of protecting him that's just got a different take, right? And so the best way I've ever found with anyone and whatever their roommate is obsessed with talking about is to get to know that part really well, to get to know that roommate. And so it's really helpful to have someone help you because they're outside of you, not inside of you hearing, being in that space.
Hearing.
Yeah. So it can be really helpful. So definitely I would, because here's the thing, maybe you don't have depression now, maybe you don't have suicidal thinking now, maybe, but anytime anything is screaming at you all the time, it takes a toll over time. It's exhausting, right? Like he described that. Being exhausted.
It's interesting because you mentioned suicidal thoughts, and that seems antithetical to survival, right? It seems like that should be in people's minds not the thing you would think of. But I think the more I think about that, I've thought about this a lot. If you're thinking about that, and not everyone's the same, and I'm not trying to apply this to anybody who may be going through this, so just know that when I say this, because I'm very uninformed about this, but it seems like maybe it could be part of the same thing. Part of your survival is you want to control where you're headed. And if you can't control it, then you take it into your own hands to control it. It seems like that's connected in it's a weird kind of survival in a weird way.
Yeah.
It is. And I feel like we had an episode on this it was a while ago, but again, trigger warning, we're talking about suicide.
Yeah.
But this idea of like how it overrides everything that is biologically necessary, right? That's happening to keep you alive. It is like maybe a warped or distorted version of protecting you, right? That it would end, because again, the brain's not like, oh, you know what's good for you? You know what's good for you is vegetables, exercising regularly, getting some good sleep. Like, it doesn't do it. It does not motivate you towards those behaviors that are always good for you. It motivates you for whatever it thinks is going to keep you alive and whatever it might be, right? And so sometimes it's lying, and often it's lying. And then sometimes it just can get caught in different loops. Right. And can get stuck in certain ways. And neurochemically, we understand some of that from a chemical perspective. But okay, so you're right, Scott. I think that can be it's a distant cousin to that. And so people can have thoughts of death and never have suicidal thoughts ever.
Yeah.
Right. That's possible.
That's true.
You can also never have any of these experiences and then suddenly have suicidal thinking. Right. So the shift to suicidal thinking is what you need to be wary of. There is a wonderful phone number everyone can call. It's 988. I don't know why it took us this long to get a 3 number, but we've got it, people. The suicidal hotline. People are amazing and can talk you through all that you need to be talked through. So call that number if that's occurring and get some help, because there is help. The thinking can feel so persuasive and so strong and so real. And it's not until you can get out of that distorted thinking, and you'll need help getting out, usually. So if you're thinking, oh, it's kind of getting worse, call now. Do it now.
I mean, it feels like human life in all of its, wherever you're talking about it, from birth all the way to death, is such a hard topic for people. Just going through this stuff with Kim's sister, it's, part of me is like, man, we're way kinder to our animals when they're starting to deteriorate. We're like, whoa, second tumor on the dog. It's time we put her down, and you do a very respectful thing, and you do all of that. We don't do this to people. We drag it out so long, no matter how much pain they're in. It sucks. Like, it just sucks.
Us, for our own feelings.
But that conversation is hard on every level. Yeah. Because I guess I'm just marveling at how humanity, it's so ingrained in us to survive and to make each other survive, that when there's any kind of discussion around any of it, including this, it's just complicated, Right. It's not simple like, well, my Ford just started sputtering. I think it's time for a new car. Like, we don't even think about it with other stuff. Who cares? But when it comes to human life, it's like so hardcore all the time.
Yeah.
And you can't.
And there's a great book Amy Bloom wrote. I think it's called In Love. Anyway, it's about her husband being diagnosed with Alzheimer's, Parkinson's. What was it? Lou Gehrig. Something that, like, his death was pretty imminent and inevitable. Yeah. And he was still in sound mind. I think it was Alzheimer's. And how she tried to find a way for, some end of life ending care, and how that's impossible in the United States. We are the top in the world in making sure you live forever. Yeah. And we have billionaires who, like, that's their whole gig too, right?
Yeah,
Let's make everyone live forever. Yeah. And anyway, she had to go to Switzerland, and it's quite a story. But this idea of, like, we're very, very motivated to have life last longer. And so that's both from our own internal experiences and what we project onto other people. And there's a biological need there. But what it really means, truthfully, is that we are real bad at grief. We're really bad at maybe our feelings about any of this, right? There's some really fun studies you can read about with psychedelics at Johns Hopkins on the death and dying. And that's where some of the first studies were allowed to be done. And folks who were, terrified of death and dying, and these were, they were terminally ill patients, and having a couple of experiences where they felt one with the universe and their ego kind of went offline, and just, just how how quickly they were able to start to process the inevitability of their death and actually feel less afraid. And it's just fascinating, right? Like, oh, we can do something chemically to someone's brain to change that is pretty wild.
Yeah.
I think religious people can have a similar thing, or someone who has said everything they needed to say to everyone, and you know, whatever their deathbed ending was, they could find peace. I mean, I think we get there maybe, and I think a lot of people don't get there, but I think we're not great at this. And so he comes by all this honestly. And then here's the other question I would ask, and have his therapist work through this with him, is how was this talked about when you were a kid? Like, did that roommate just come out of nowhere? Because I have met people I feel like it kind of does. And then others, it's their mom was real anxious and safety was obsessed about, and don't get hurt and don't die. And, you know, so maybe there's a piece of that there, or, you know, what else happened in your younger years where what was the concept of death like? Did you have an animal that died? How was that treated? You know, you just start to get maybe curious as to the background for why the roommate is talking so much about this kind of thing. Okay, so yes. Okay, they wanted a book because they're going to find a therapist in the meanwhile. So a book that actually uses the term roommate. A lot of people use the term roommate, but this one specifically is, it's basically like a nice little Buddhist book about figuring some stuff out. Anyway, it's called The Untethered Soul. Maybe you guys have heard of this.
I have.
Oh, yeah.
Michael Singer is the author. I don't actually love his writing style, I'll be honest, but the concepts are great. And I think that would be a good, before you get your therapist in order, maybe grab that book. One thing I don't like about it, the take is sort of like, don't listen to the roommate. Whereas I'm the opposite. I'm like, listen to the roommate. Find out what this roommate needs to tell you. See if we can have a little
see, that's interesting, because your style is very much like confront your thing.
Yeah.
You take care of your own stuff, and that makes a lot of sense to me. We had somebody, I'm not going to name people, but somebody in the chat earlier had said, oh, I love Therapy Thursday, but I don't think I can listen to today's segment now that I've because we previewed that it was a follow-up to some of the inner roommate stuff, and they had to bail. And it got me to thinking, and no shade or shame their direction for this at all. You got to do whatever you got to do. But my initial reaction was, this is what we do when our survival instincts kick in. Like, I understand this idea that it's almost childlike. Like, if you close your eyes, nobody's in the room, you know, that whole idea. I do that with some stuff where I just don't want to deal with it. And so I will pack it away and push it away and not look at it directly. Whereas, you know, there are plenty of people in the chat since, and certainly since we've been talking about this concept over episodes, who have leaned into it in a very, you know, aggressive way. They want to do it head on. And that's just an interesting illustration of kind of the whole problem, right? Like, it's still, it's emblematic of what you're talking about overall. Anyway, just something I noticed.
Yeah, exactly. Which is why, you know, and this is in the end why a trigger warning matters when one is offered, right? Or maybe we should offer more or something. And it is not because someone can't handle something or not. It's because everyone's at a different place with different things for different reasons. And you're not ready at times. Like, rightfully so, you're not ready. And I think about the things, I've been doing this thing with some friends, which has been fascinating. You guys should really try this. I have these friends from a long time. And there was one friend who kind of just disappeared, like kind of moved herself out of the group forever. And so about 20 years. I don't really know what happened to her. I kind of do, but not really. And she doesn't really know what happened to me. So we've been doing this, sending each other messages, and we're taking like 5-year chunks and saying what happened in our life. Wow. It is, first of all, I thought my memory was worse than it is. Apparently I can remember if you just give me a chunk of time to talk about. But as we're doing this, I'm realizing, like, in our early 20s, we had some really hard stuff that we were dealing with. And to be able to, like, convey it now to someone who's very mature and emotionally intelligent and cares about me and I care about them, like, it's just been so cool. It's like we were kids together and now we get to be adults of college kids together with all sorts of skills we did not have at 22.
Yeah.
And now we can go through that history and talk about how we were feeling, what we were doing. Anyway, it's really been fun. But the realization is, whoa, life was actually kind of hard. I forgot. And it's because we're in what we're in at that moment. If you had asked me then to explain anything I'm saying to you today, I would not have been able to do any of this. I could not say any of these words. I had no experience. But that was when Dad died. That was the era we were talking about, from 2000 to 2005.
Yeah.
And just all the ups and downs and uncertainties in my life were just all over the map, because that's what that age is for.
Mm-hmm.
And it was particularly tough. But I couldn't articulate any of that. I don't even know if I would want to hear half of the things I can say now, right?
Yeah.
Because you're just not ready at different stages and phases of life. And so if you ever have this thought, like, I do not understand that, or I think people are making it up when they say blank, just hold on, because time will teach you that there is more to every story. Just maybe at this point, you don't maybe get it, right? But also to honor where you're at too. I don't recommend you go rushing into something you are not ready to hear.
Yeah.
It'll work its way in. Don't you worry.
It's
so anyway, I appreciate you sharing that.
It's interesting too that I do a little of this with doctors, but the old phrase, "What I don't know won't hurt me." I think some people use that in ways that are detrimental to themselves. Like, I know, as a side example, Dad hated going to the doctor. He just refused to do it. If he had to, fine, but he wouldn't schedule anything. Like, Mom would make him go or whatever. He just didn't like it, didn't trust him, didn't like dentists, didn't like any of that stuff. Just wasn't the thing. It was a thing for him. I don't know if it's generational or what, but it's very likely that had Dad been more actively doing preventative visits to the doctor, they may have caught that enlarged heart thing and done something about it. And he could very well be with us today. So I find myself doing this a little bit, not quite to that extreme, but there was a time where when I was working on my blood sugar, they're like, well, you need to be testing your blood sugar every day. And I told my doctor, it's like, I got to a point where I was like, I don't want to look at it. I can't look at it anymore. Because even when it's good, and I was improving, it just was this constant feeling of like, what's it going to be? What's it going to be? Oh, whew, that number's okay. We're okay. Okay. Oh, next time, here it comes, and it's going to hurt. And, and she actually said, I want you to stop doing it. She says, first of all, your numbers are in line right now, and that's good. Keep doing what you're doing. But also, this is not good for you mentally. And then she did what you always do, which just says, this could be something you could work on in therapy. But I think a lot of people do that. They just think, well, if I don't know if I don't know something's going on, like I had a friend say, I'm not getting a colonoscopy. And I said, why? He goes, you only find stuff if you're looking for it. It was kind of like saying, it's such a weird thing to say, right? But he really meant it. And he really didn't go and still refuses to, because he's like, if it happens, it happens. That's his attitude. And I used to think, wow, people are brave about the unknown. But I'm convinced that's him showing like almost extreme fear, because he's done an extreme measure to cover it.
Yeah.
And made sure everyone around him knows, I refuse to do a thing, and I'm super cool about it, even though internally I'll bet this is a hard thing for him. Anyway.
Yeah, 100%. And when you watch someone slowly die of colon cancer, you change your tune, right?
Yeah.
And that's sometimes just experience, right? Like just having more experience, or opening yourself up to because here's the thing about aging and death. It's common for everybody. Why are we all ageist? Because we're terrified, right? It's scary to see yourself melting in the mirror. It's scary to, suddenly realize what I used to think was the oldest human on earth is actually my age, and now I'm there. Or seeing people and care about get sick or whatever, right? This is in everybody's future. This is 100% guaranteed for all of us. I don't care how many billions of dollars people spend to try to
it's not going to matter. Yeah,
it's not. And also the long history of people trying is amazing, right? This is not news. They've been doing it forever. Anyway, but okay. So I wanted to tie into something for this emailer, because I got another email, the exact same moment. You sent me this, and then I got this one, and I thought, wow, these are interesting, and they tie together. So this is from No Name. And this is it. Okay, real quick. Hi, I love your show.
Mm-hmm.
So I may be dying, and I need to know what I can do to make it easier on my family.
Mm.
It is just me and my wife and my mother and father and her mom. So what should I do to make it sure it goes smoothly for them?
Wow.
That's all they sent you? Is just that?
Mm-hmm.
Dang. Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So why is that solemn for us, right? Like both, you felt it, everyone feeling it?
Because like you basically hearing that they both know the end is coming and they're able to ask a question that really sounds like, yeah, I know it's coming. I've accepted it. We've moved on past that. Now it's time for me to think about what I leave behind for other people.
Yeah. I mean, I hear that and go, wow, what a mature,
for sure,
sensible, like, I don't know. I don't even know how to describe that because that feels so hard to do.
Yeah.
Like I would think, I mean, maybe that person is very pragmatic about everything in their life. And that impresses the crap out of me. Because I know I would be not thinking that. I would be like, what am I going to do? How am I going to do it all? There's all the stuff I haven't done. Like you just have all those normal, things to say. But it's still, like you said, the reaction is still kind of a solemn one. It's still like, oh man,
And the thing I wanted to do is juxtapose the two situations.
Yeah.
The roommate in the one email is trying to get this guy to act like he's dying. Right?
Yeah.
And then the other one is dying.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And is like, all right, what do I need to do? Right? I that's very short. I don't know anything else, right? But we're going to just use it as how it sounds, right? Which is like, and this is one of the hardest things about being a human being is that the suffering you experience that comes from thoughts, that comes from feelings that just show up, right? Stories you're telling yourself, loops you get stuck in, that all of that suffering about a thing, and in this case, about a thing that's not happening, right? Or it's happening slowly, it's happening like it is for anyone, right? But, other than that, like a robust, happy, good life, healthy, doing all the things. And it's chipping away at this person's energy and their actual life versus the realness of the person that's actually happening. And what people will describe is clarity that comes, right? Like when the truth is there, that just shifts your brain. Our brains do something very different when maybe it is actually time to die. And that's the thing most of us maybe don't know because we don't talk about it or we don't read a book about it or we don't follow up on, death and dying studies. This is not something we're focusing on. And so I wanted to also share that just as, because I want to answer that question, but also just motivating the first emailer a little bit of like a part of your brain is telling you about death a lot. You need to spend some of your life energy to figure out why so that it doesn't take more energy than it needs to. It's just working harder for some reason than it is in other people. And believe me, it's still working in other people. It's just working too hard to get your attention and you got to get curious about why. And then for the other person, I mean, we could take that like a whole nother episode, I guess. But my first thoughts when, what do you need to do to make it easier on your family? Because so many people, like your Scott, your response makes sense why we're all living till, on medication and machines as long as we possibly can, because it's really hard to let go of life, right?
Yeah.
And so if we think about, I don't know what this person's family is like, but there's a wife and parents and a grandparent. And so just know it's going to be really hard. It's going to be really hard for them. So more importantly than what we think might help them is you got to ask them what might help them. You can also find resources where people have had others do for them who are preparing to pass that's been really helpful. Maybe it's that you write a lot of things down, maybe that you make some video recordings. Everyone's going to decide how they grieve and what they will look at or not look at. So I don't recommend forcing them to have anything like, like your picture pops up every time they turn the TV on. Maybe don't do that or something, but what is it that you kind of consult with them a little bit, and also what feels right to you? Because this is hard. You deal with your own death, and then you're managing everyone's emotions around you at the same time. It's a really difficult position. So to engage your support system in doing that, and, sort of, if you have the time to be thoughtful about this and ask them, create some rituals or memories or things that you think would be helpful, but check in with them too, because they may or may not. Like, for example, let me just make this clear. I never want a surprise party. So anyone listening who thinks anyone else would want to just know.
I don't like him either. I hate him.
So if Adam reaches out and says, "Hey guys, I'm throwing a surprise party," stop him.
Tell him not to do it.
She doesn't want that. How do you not know this?
Yeah. And so what you'll realize as you are really consulting with other people, it's often what they want. You want to be clear. And when you're gone, what do they need and want? Because that, but also recognize what you need and want matters too. Yeah. And so some real conversations need to be had. And so there's the irony of the two emails, right? One is a conversation internally and the other one is a conversation externally.
Yeah.
Of like being able to navigate the hardest part of life, because nobody has actual answers for, or no one has the right formula for everyone. We're also very removed from death. We're dying in hospitals away from other people are caring for you versus at home. I think that's changing a little bit, but we're not good at this, and that's okay, but we can get better at it.
Yeah, for sure. This has been good. This is a good week for me to hear all this. So I'm glad that we went down this path. And I hope that person can get some relief. Check out that book Wendy talked about, The Untethered Soul, The Journey Beyond Yourself by Michael A. Singer.
And hopefully the new therapist is able to help you better than the old therapist.
Yeah, I would hope so.
Yeah.
Why is it,
and
Wendy?
If you end up Buddhist, it's not my fault.
Wendy, I have an aesthetic question. How come all these books look like they're almost identical that you always recommend?
They all look like the brochures you get at a mortuary.
Yeah, it's really weird. Like they're all green. They have a green stripe on top, a kind of aquamarine blue color combo thing for the middle. It's always
soothing.
It's
and
always
a horse
these.
that looks like a unicorn.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah.
All these books.
I have a question. What should it be?
I don't know. Like I honestly, I read
Mondrian painting.
I read a lot of fiction, so I'm not a good source on this because everything I read has got big orcs on it.
It
and
should
stuff.
be a scantily clad barbarian holding a massive sword.
Yeah, saying "Find your inner self" on the front.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, they're always this
Fair
color
enough.
scheme. That's always this weird thing, and it's fine. Maybe that's just what this subset of books is. It's totally
It's
fine.
what people,
I love that.
And
What
you just
should
need
it
to
be?
be calm when you pick it up. So I think that's the blue tendency, right?
I think you're right.
I think a nice opposite would be funny, like just like a skull with like fire, or like
the untethered soul. Yeah, takes on a whole other meaning when you see it that way. All right, well, this has been good, Wendy. I hope your cold continues to abate, or your flu, whatever it is. That sucks. Did anyone else get it, or were you the soul? You're the soul getter.
just me. In fact, I think Elliot gave it to me, and it was just like a little sniffle and a tiny sore throat for 2 seconds, and then
Freaking kids.
I got the mom version, which was awesome.
Yeah, the old people version is always worse. The kids come home, it's nothing for them. Whatever.
Yeah.
They're playing Fortnite by 5.
Fall.
Fall.
Yeah, but Real Steps is starting soon.
Oh,
Speaking
good.
of fall, so please go to realsteps.org and sign up, and it's going to be a blast. And people are already signing up, which is great. I haven't even sent an email out. That's supposed to be what I was doing, but I had a cold.
Oh, well, yeah.
But yeah, please, it's going to be a lot of fun. It starts. What's the month? November 6th. So you have until November 5th to sign up.
1 month.
Yeah.
One Earth
One month.
Oh, yeah, today's the 5th. You got 1 month, everybody. That's plenty of time.
1 month, baby.
Get in there. Get that done. Wendy, have fun. I hope you never get a surprise party, and I'll see you soon.
Thank you. Bye.
I'm just like her. I hate them. Can't stand them.
Yeah.
I like throwing them for other people. That's fun.
Yeah.
Like I'd love to throw a party for whoever, but I don't want to have. I hate it when
Is it less about the shock of the surprise and more about the, oh my God, you guys are going to so much effort and just throw a party for me and tell me about it.
Yeah.
Don't need to go to all this effort kind of thing.
It's mostly that second thing. Yeah. I don't
Yeah.
care about the shock of it. In fact, most of the time
Yeah.
you can kind of see these things coming, but I don't know. I just feel guilty the whole time.
Yeah. Scott, make sure you don't make any plans for October 19th.
Yeah, that's happened before. All right, that's it for all that. Quick reminder about our schedule moving forward. Brian, though, may do it early. Coverville.
Yeah, it might be at 12. Keep an eye on twitch.tv. Best thing to do is just go over to twitch.tv/Coverville. Ring the little bell so you get the notifications whenever I go live.
Yeah.
Mike,
idea.
like I said, Mike earlier, I'm meeting Len Peralta for dinner tonight.
What's he doing in Denver?
Jawbone Radio's own Len Peralta. He's in town for a conference that for the company that he works for. So
cool.
we're going to go out to dinner.
That's great.
Yeah.
I've seen Len one time in my life.
Oh, really? That's it?
That's it. Saw him at
Just
the
at that
Vegas
one,
thing, and that's it. Never anything since.
Yeah.
Or before. And we've had these
podcast,
opportunities. Like when I was in Ohio, we had tentative plans, but then he had something come up, and we couldn't make it work. And so it's been just years and years and years. So
I mean, Len Peralta is, in a way, responsible for us working together, I think, because it was me talking to him, being a guest on Jawbone Radio, and him saying, hey, I'm going to be on ELR to celebrate, no, the Instance, to celebrate my hitting 40 or something on my Hunter in World of Warcraft.
Yep.
You should listen to the show. I'm like, oh, I don't play that game, but I'll listen to the show. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. Now I'm going to play the game.
Now you're going to play the game. Yeah, I think that is how it started. Even though, without your knowledge, I was listening to Coverville before that.
Yeah.
Just happened to be a listener. And then that all happened. And it was like, oh, okay. And then, the rest is history.
So you may have still invited me to be on ELR, and
might have.
Len had nothing to do with it. So really, F Len.
Yeah, F Len. We don't need. Go to lunch with yourself.
Len.
Go to lunch with yourself, dinner, or whatever it is.
Exactly.
No, that's great. Tell him hi, and I'm excited. You guys get to see each other. That's cool.
Yeah, it'd be great if Be Real cues up right at the moment that we're sitting down to dinner.
Just ignore your next one and have a late one. That's how you do it. That's how I sneak those in.
Well, yeah, you could do that, but the better thing to do is to do your right one, and then you get the 2 bonus Be Reals that you can use for
there's the whole gamification of the thing. It doesn't quite work on me, but I take your point.
Oh, it does for me. It's like, oh my God, I've only got 2 minutes. Pull the car over, quick! I know I've got a passenger in my lift.
I like that you're committed to it. I look at it sometimes, and just go, oh, I'm not doing that.
Yeah,
right now.
no, it's really more what it's like. Anyway, so possibly at 12 p.m. So really in about an hour and 10 minutes, Coverville Steve Miller Band.
Yeah, it sounds good to me. Core tonight, 5 p.m. for Core. Unless something changes, I'll let you guys know. But that is the plan currently, and lots to talk about. So check that out. Going to try to play 15, 20 minutes of the new Assassin's Creed today because it just came out today, and I'll be able to talk about that tonight. Couch party tomorrow at 10 a.m. Should happen as well. I don't know what we're watching yet, but we've been talking.
I think Monica has a creep show that she
good.
wants us to watch. Do you still have your Shudder?
I don't, so I'd have to either re-up that or I'd get. I bet we can find a complex version of it.
Maybe, yeah.
Someone somewhere. We're going to do some Halloween business there. Play Retro will be Friday this week, and it might be there forever because Dunaway's got a change in hours at work. They moved him to a 4-hour work week thing.
Oh, nice. A 4-day work week?
Or
4-hour work week?
4 days. Sorry, not 4 hours.
I was going to say, a 4-hour work week really makes us, we might want to consider rescheduling Film Sack, too.
Yeah, no kidding. We could do all kinds of things. No, I think he just frees up a little bit of his Friday. Whether it's permanent or not, I don't know, but we're going to do it at 2:30 on Friday. This week it was because of my stuff, but we're going to be talking about Syndicate and the incredible legacy of the game Syndicate.
Wow.
That'll be 2:30 Friday afternoon, and then Film Sack this weekend, The Conjuring. I don't know if it's Saturday or Sunday this week. Is it Sunday?
I'm hoping it's Sunday.
I think it is because I think he told us he needed all of October.
I thought so too, but last week, we had the wrong day because that was October. Well, I guess we would have had it September. But we moved it to October because we thought he needed us to do it for all of October.
So I'm glad I'm not the only one that was under that impression. I think there was some confusion there, but we'll ask him today. We'll clarify all that. Either way, You guys will get an
Watched
episode
it last
this weekend.
night. Funniest comedy I've ever seen.
Oh yeah, the Commodore. Had you seen
something
it?
About Annabelle.
Yeah.
This is what the subtitle.
Had you seen it before? Because you were saying you
I've
weren't
seen it
sure.
before.
Okay, you had.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So yeah, that'll be fun. Our Sacktober continues, so check that out this weekend. And if you are on the internet already, and many of you I know are, okay, all you got to do is sign up for our Patreon at patreon.com/TMS. I'm told they changed their logo today. Let's see what this is.
Oh, Patreon did?
Yeah, let me go to patreon.com. Oh yeah, it's like a little bean or something.
Oh, totally. A little brrt.
Yeah, what happened to the P? I guess that's a P.
Explore the new Patreon. Now you have even more ways to share your world directly. Yeah, we could do live chats with just our patrons.
Yeah, they got all kinds of stuff they added, right?
Yeah.
Let me log out and look at this new page. Oh yeah, that's a weird logo.
Man, you go to this page and it's an instant like Jack Conte and his big old beard about to tell you everything new that
that's how he
they're doing.
Yeah, he's like, hey, look at my beard.
Look at my beard. I'm taking a break from the 14 bands that I'm part of to tell you about this tech thing that I've been involved with too.
Wow, this new page is crazy. Holy shit. Well, there you go. Patreon.com/TMS.
Love it. Learn it.
Yeah, love it and learn it. Go sign up for ours because we need you. We need you, damn it. Every month we need you. Go there. Patreon.com/TMS. That'll do it for today. We need to do some music, so I'll bet you brought us something.
Of course I did. The Berm wrote in and said, Guten Morgen, Schadenfreude and Bildungsraum.
Wow.
No birthday or any event. Just wanted to dedicate a song to a great member of the Tadpool Bombats. Aw. This one goes out to him. Also, can I get a honk either version? Thank you both for what you do.
Hell yeah. Found the real one here.
Oh, good.
I think. And
Hey.
nope. There he is. I knew he was right there. I like that guy a lot. We also have him.
Oh.
You know, we'll always get
Nice. Yeah, for sure.
Why not?
All right. This is a song called Gloana Bauer, but you might know it better as a song by Widgets called Teenage Dirtbag. This is a German version. It's got a lot of oompa oompa in there, so it's almost like a German polka version, performed by Die Stiefelatze, she Stiefeljascha.
Sure.
Yes, it's something like that. I got the D right because it's D-I-E. I didn't say Die Stiefeljascha.
Intense. You're doing really good German. I'm impressed. This is good.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
solid.
you very much. This is a single they released in 2016, again, covering the Widgets song. I can't remember what they say in place of Iron Maiden. Maybe it's Kraftwerk. I've got 2 tickets for Kraftwerk, baby. Join me. Don't say maybe. Touch my monkey. Anyway, here you go. Here is the song Gloana Bauer by that name that I just butchered earlier.
Nice. And if we don't see any of you this weekend on all our other stuff, we'll see you on Monday for a new TMS.
Right on.
Bye now.
Get more at frogpants.com.
You could not even give me a barking ticket.
A barking?
Diplomatic immunity.